Actually, I want to play one by Miss Big. She got a new album out and it's doing real good. It's on the charts right now. I think it's on Rhythm and Roots charts at number 2 or 3, and she's doing kicking butt. And she's a longtime friend and associate of my friend, the legendary Mr. Ralph Carter, who was my music director in my band for many, many, many years, and still someone I really love and respect. And I know that he gave her a hand in this. But Leslie is a heck of a artist, and what I like is I really like that she took this picture. You know, her house was one of the houses that burned down in the Los Angeles area out in Malibu when they had the big Malibu fire and everything. I think she's since then, her and her husband have rebuilt. But I love her album cover. It's her standing in the middle of the rubble of her house, and it says "Bring It." You know, I shut up. And I'm gonna put it up on the screen. There it is. And the album is called "Bring It," featuring Ralph Carter. And I love that. This picture, I want y'all to know, this is her actual house, y'all. This is part of her actual house. It was a beautiful, beautiful home. I got the opportunity to be there several times, as Ralph used to live in their guest house for years. And nice people. And matter of fact, Mr. Bix actually played on my first album, Blind Alley. I think he played baritone and tenor sax on that, if I'm remembering right. You know, I'm getting old. My mind ain't like it used to be. This is Miss Bix, and she is a friend of mine. I love her to death. And y'all check that out, see if you can dig this.
I need more than a lifetime, baby, to have my fill of you. You turn me on every day. I can't imagine my life without you. You bring me more in one package than a woman could ever desire. 'Cause you bring me the friendship, baby, and you bring the fire. There ain't no such thing as too much of your good thing. There ain't no such thing as too much of your good thing. I used to get my kicks acting a little bit
That light is driving me
very
crazy.
crazy.
One of my lights got a short, y'all. Keep going in and out.
Away when the going got rough. In love, you could say I was lazy, but I don't crave that kind of action. It doesn't make me strong, and I'm glad, so glad that you found me, 'cause I'm right here where I belong. There ain't no such thing as too much of your good thing.
Thank you, Chef. You be safe going back to work, baby.
No such thing as too much of your good thing, baby. There ain't no such thing as too much of your good thing. Well, alright.
Brazil, Canada, Wales, Milwaukee, California, Massachusetts, Rhode Island. There's a lot of people in different places. I love it. That's Miss Biggs, baby. Ain't too much of a good thing. Ain't never too much of a good thing. Right on. I like that, and I can dig that. I'm digging that sound and everything. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's enough of that. I'm going to bring her up, ladies and gentlemen. Please put your hands together for my guest today, Leslie Bixler, a.k.a. Miss Biggs. Yeah.
Hi.
How you doing, Miss Biggs? You're a little granulated, but hopefully everyone can still see that beautiful face. That's all right. Getting closer ain't going to help it. It's your Wi-Fi. How you doing, Mama?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm not bad. I've been digging that album. I thought it was really, really, really cool. And I went back, like I said, last night you and I went together and dug up some stuff, and that we're gonna play today. But I know you've been a singer for quite some time because I've known you. I'm trying to think, like, how long have I known you now?
Well, when did you do that album with Blind Alley?
Yeah, with Chuck.
With Ralph. But when did you start writing with Ralph? Like,
it
was the Cozies thing. It was
it was all the way back to Cozies when I used to come to your house and sit back there, and Ralph used trying to get me to drink the beer that he made. And, it took us forever. Took us forever to finish that album. That's because Ralph and I wouldn't be writing. We'd be back there smoking cigars. But
oh my goodness.
we write. Ralph. I love him to death. I plan on working with him in the future also. So
yeah.
But yeah, that must have been 2019. Well, no, yeah, 2000 and
like 15, 14.
No, earlier than that, love. That album came out in 2010.
So
yeah. So we probably like 2007 or something like that.
Okay.
When we actually started writing.
Do the math. 22 minus 7.
Yeah, because remember
14,
this. Remember this.
Years.
When the album came out, I had stopped. By the time the album came out, I had stopped doing the jam because I was a managed boy then, and I still had my own band by the time the album came out, if you remember. So yeah, it's been a minute.
Wow.
So Leslie, your new album comes out, or it already has come out and looked like it's charting and doing well. So let's talk about that a little bit. You mind?
No.
What is the concept of the album?
Well, the album it's a follow-up to the We Don't Own the Blues one that I did that was really influenced by my time in Clarksdale, Mississippi.
Wait a minute, don't just gloss over that. Before we go further than that, let's talk about that because I know that Ralph runs the workshop there. Can you at the Shack Up End?
Right.
Can you talk about that for a second, then we'll go back to the album?
Absolutely, yeah. If you point me in a direction, I can always find something to say.
All right.
Kind of like you. Those camps, you were there.
Yeah, I was blessed to come.
That was a fun time. Yeah, it's just the heart of the blues, and the Delta, where they say that Robert Johnson sold to the devil to the soul. They're these camps, and they're in this funky place that has a bunch of sharecropper cabins. And, I've never been anywhere like that before, but you can really literally pull the blues out of the air, and there's cotton fields everywhere. And it's just like a lot of really heavy vibes.
Now, the place you're talking about, everybody, all of us blues heads know, is the Shack Up Inn down in on the outskirts of Clarksdale, Mississippi. And Ralph runs a guitar workshop there, guitar and songwriter workshop twice a year. And he gets people from all over the world, and they come in for about, I think it's 5 to 7 days. And they stay at the Shack Up Inn, and they do workshops and concerts. And he's teaching them about the blues and teaching them how to start playing the blues and stuff and everything. And it's such a great vibe, great hang. If you ever get the chance to go do it, like I say, he does it twice a year. It sells out really, really fast. Because I think he usually takes no more than like 20 or so
Right.
people, so it sells out fast, and a lot of the people have been going every year. So I'll get Ralph on here one of these times and find the tickets to it. But it is the Shack Up Inn. Yeah, Barbara Ryan, it is a very cool place. All right, now let's get back to the album, young lady. And I'm sorry, I keep looking this way because I got this big 75-inch screen right in front of me. So it's like I look over here, it's like you're sitting across the desk from me. But I'm gonna have to figure that out. Eric's been telling me I got all these cameras and lights. I got this one light over here that keep popping on and popping off like it's got ghosts in the machine. I'm tired of all this gear. I'm ready to get out and work. Let's talk about the album.
Okay. Well, it's called Bring It. And I just, somebody took that picture of me after the fire, right where my fireplace used to be. And the look on my face,
which fire are you talking about?
The Woolsey fire in Malibu that in 2018 that just like took out hundreds of homes. My whole neighborhood's gone. So,
well, I just wanted you to say that because remember, we got people from all over the world. They have no idea what you're talking about. They might think that you just talking about you was in there cooking some hot dogs and the place burned out. So let's get it straight.
No. It was one of those feelings of inevitability where you look out over, like I was over the rise where the guest house used to be.
Yes.
And we're watching this cloud. It looks like CGI coming toward us because, they kept trying to drop stuff on it and it just kept. We found out it was 16 miles wide. So there was literally traveling 3 football fields a second.
Wow.
So we left and, the neighborhood was gone when we came back. So it's been a really interesting time for all of us here in Malibu who are fighting with the county and, trying to get everything through, about that. But that's a bottomless pit. But we're home. So, and meanwhile, during that time, we've had a lot of issues going on with family emergencies, COVID, trying to make the album. So I just kind of looked at that picture and thought, what's next? Bring it, I'll take it. If I can do this, I can do anything. And the look on my face in that picture is kind of like that. So it's a good way for me to manage that, the overwhelming feelings that I've been dealing with, as we all have in this last period of time. But yeah, bring it. I'm ready for you.
I like that. And so it winds up, how long did it take you guys to get the album done?
Well, I remember Ralph and I got on FaceTime to do sort of the fundamentals. It would have been like June of 2 years ago, I think. And we did it through FaceTime and it was crazy. But Ralph and I worked together so long that we were able to just, I'd send him an idea through email or messaging and then I'd watch him play it. Because, there's that delay in FaceTime and you can't really do music at the same time. And then he'd give me something and send it to me. And then he decided to do pretty much the drums and the bass, and then we both did guitar, and he got and percussion. Ralph. Ralph
plays everything. That's why I used to love all the albums that we've done together. Whenever he would send me a demo. Like,
it was finished, right?
It was finished. I'm like, I remember the first time I ever got one when we first started recording Blind Alley. He would send me demos of songs and ideas, and I'd be like, so
what else?
I'm like, is this a song? I can just come and sing on this. He's like, no, this is just a demo. I'm like, but everything's on here: horns, keyboards, drums, bass. I could get a real sense of what the song would feel of the song, and so it made it easier for me to write. So I definitely understand. I'm just sorry I had to go away. I wanted to put that picture back up. So there's that picture of you again. So go ahead. Go ahead.
You stayed anyway. Well done. So so we got those sort of foundational things, and I did a couple of them here with my husband as well, who is a producer and a keyboard, and mainly he's a sax player. He's a badass sax player, and
he is. He played baritone and double or tenor on my album Blind Alley.
He plays a really great baritone solo on one of my songs, "The Poison."
Okay.
It's kind of a dark, like a morphine vibe. I don't know if you've heard that band, but they've got this weird sound with baritone sax going through the whole thing in a really unusual way. So that's we kind of went for that vibe on The Poison. Anyway, so then I started handing it around, and because of wave files now, a lot of people just like John Thomas, who's the keyboard player on it,
JT.
JT,
Yeah.
he did it in his cave with all his amazing B3s and Wurlitzers, and then he'd send me a track in the middle of the night, like, have I got the vibe you're looking for? I'd be like, yes, you're amazing. And we did that for months. And then Frank Goldwasser, who is an amazing blues guitar player, we brought him in, and we were in the other room with the door closed, and we all had our masks on, and he played in the room. And then we finished the album at Dragonfly Creek Studios with Charlie Pollard. I did all
Yes.
my vocals. You know them? You
Yes.
know? Oh, he's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Come on, my time in living in LA, it's kind of weird for a guy that never went out and did anything. Seemed like I knew everybody because I fell in with the right cats. I fell in with the Ralphs and the Chucks and the Finnegans and all these cats.
Yeah.
Mike. We actually had Mike on the show, I think about 8-9 days before he passed away.
No
and so
way.
that's a great interview. And I was just trying to get him on for about 10 minutes, and I think he stayed on for like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
That's
and then
so great.
yeah, very good. Let me just jump in here real quick. I just saw, where did that go? From Ukraine, Gina South. And I hope I'm saying that right, Gina South. I want to let you know that we are all pulling for you guys. We love you very much. You guys stay strong, and hopefully one day I'll be able to come to the Ukraine again and play some music. Hopefully we all will. And I know the rebuild process, I'm already sick on rebuild because I know you guys are going to win this war. So when the rebuild process will be long and slow, but I know, as I've seen on TV and as I've seen in person when I met people from the Ukraine, you're very strong people. We love y'all. All the blues people, we totally understand and we love you. So thank you for sending that message, Gina, and blessings on you. Right on. So go ahead.
Yeah. Ditto. Just Charlie Pollard he's got the ears like nobody else, and he took it to the next level. He took the songs and just the mix and everything. So I lucked out during COVID, I got a good label that has their act so well together that they basically just, had it ready to go. And by the time it officially dropped, which is a little early, it's supposed to be the 15th, but it was already charting. So, they're really good. It's Blind Raccoon with Betsy Brown and Sally Benson doing Blue Heart Records or NOLA Blue Records. They've got great people. And there's Ralph. Hi, Ralph.
What up, Ralphie? Ralphie boy. Hello, Ralphie.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I mean, it's amazing the things that people can do now.
Yeah.
And Eric Korn in the house. Thinking about labels. I'm the same way. I've been very, very blessed to work with Eric Korn and 40 Below. They've done a hell of a job and really pushed my own career to new heights. Eric believes in me 120% and has put his wallet where his mouth is and really, really, really helped me. I'm always be a blues man, and blues is where my heart and soul is, and I will always do blues. But Eric has done a really good job of helping me cross over. So I think we're number one in college radio. We've been really kicking butt in AAA radio. Matter of fact, I got an invite to come to Non-Com and Bonnaroo. And it's pretty cool. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of tough discussions and whatnot. But in the end, it's really cool when you're able to walk out on that stage and give your heart and soul to people. So I think that's a cool thing. So Eric, I said all that to say thank you, brother. Thank you. Well, you know what? That's pretty cool. And we're gonna talk some more. But you know what I'm gonna do? I want to play this song. I'm gonna pull myself off the screen. I want you to make a short introduction of what this song is about, set it up, and then we'll play it. All right?
Okay.
Here we go.
Well, I wrote this after one of the horrible killings. I don't remember which one. There've been so many. And so I sent it to Sally because I wanted her take on it. I trust her. She's the head of Blue Heart Records. And she was like, not only do I love this, I want to, release it as now, and I want to get like a great person to share it with you. So we ended up, asking Keisha Pratt, who and have heard her. She's fantastic, to share the song with me. She was like, hell yes. So it's a pretty real song about what's going on and alludes to a lot that's happening. And then the label put together this video with some images that really speak to what it's about. And the very last image I just want to point out, if you look at it carefully, it'll get you crying. So that's a little teaser for you.
Flashing headlights in his rearview mirror. What has he done? Why are they pulling him over? Yelling and screaming to get out on the street. Cuffing his hands, pulled him right off his feet. They drag him to the curb, he's not fighting back. I don't understand why there's a gun in his back. Red walls are closing in on me. Closing in on me. Generations of suffering. Generation. That is our legacy. Swear they won't see me cry. Will today be the day that I die? She's at the market getting some food for dinner. Her mama's visiting the family this weekend. She did her shift at work, started at 4. Now she's making her way home. Her baby girl's at the door. They're breaking down the walls. She doesn't know why. Last sound she hears is her little baby cry. Red walls are closing in on me. Closing in on me. Generations of terror a chance to appear. I never thought we'd find ourselves way back here. What will become of us, a nation at war? Don't want to live inside these walls anymore. Red walls are closing in on me. Generations of suffering, that is our legacy. Swear they won't see me cry. Will the day be the day that I die? Swear they won't see me cry. Will today be the day that I die? We can do better. Swear they won't see me cry. Will today be the day that I die? Mama sent me an angel. These people are killing me.
Wow, that is deep, man. And you and Keisha, my God, profound lyrics there. I'm with you, Barbara Ryan. Barbara said those are some profound lyrics. Man, that's deep. That is, you know, it's a sad state of affairs, and you know, it is what it is. You know, I've had this conversation with my son, who's now 29. You know, I grew up in the deep south of the piney woods of East Texas, and there's just certain things that we knew because we were surrounded by that culture of the South and around a bunch of black people and whatnot, and we all shared the same experience. And but my son grew up in San Diego. He went to college in Oregon, and you know, I raised him to be a citizen of the world, and he wasn't privy to a lot of that. And I how do I put this? You know, I don't usually talk politics or religion here, but you know, I put off giving him the talk until one day he did something really stupid. He had a full ride scholarship to play at Lewis and Clark. He went to visit a girlfriend. He said friends, but I found out later it was a girl, of course. He's about 16, 17. I had bought him a car, and he had went and smoked weed, and there's nothing wrong with smoking weed. But then he drove back to his house. They were living kind of in the ghetto area, but he was driving from La Jolla at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, boy, you know, I had to sit him down, and we finally had that talk, because I was like, you know, you're a black kid, nice car, driving to La Jolla at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you've been smoking weed. It's a recipe for disaster, because you're probably pulled over just for being a black kid driving through the streets of La Jolla. For those of y'all that don't know, La Jolla is like Beverly Hills on steroids. You know, driving through La Jolla at 3 o'clock in the morning. And you know, I used to get really worried. He's a very easygoing giant, as I call him. I call him the happy black giant all the time, because he's always got a smile on his face. You know, he's 6'8", 288 pounds. I mean, he's like 4 inches or so taller than I am. And you know, these police officers, not all of them, but a lot of them get scared. You know, they're in a car by themselves. They're probably some little guy that was whatever, and now they got a gun and a badge, but they're out there at 3 o'clock in the morning, and they read your plates, and your license comes up, and they see 6'8", almost 300-pound young black kid. You know, it's a recipe for disaster. I mean, I've had, you know, one of my own experiences in Carlsbad, California, of all places. Cop pulled me over. Back when I was a bouncer, I used to drive an old beat up Datsun 280Z. The doors didn't even open. The window wouldn't roll down. You had to climb out the T-tops. And we would do that because people would, when people found out who the bouncer's car was, they would always trash your car. You know, they ride on it. They break out the windows, punch the tires. We always kept 2 or 3 extra spare tires at the club for that guy. That's just one of the things that bouncers go through, and coolers. And so I remember stopping in the 7-Eleven on on the 101 there, near Cardiff, going somewhere where I didn't have no business at 3 o'clock in the morning, but whatever. I stopped at 7-Eleven to make a phone call on the payphone. I don't even know if they have payphones anymore. And all of a sudden, I'm facing a wall talking to this person, and all of a sudden, the sun pops up, and I can feel the heat from this light. I turn around, and it's this cop. All I'm doing is talking on the phone. I turn around and give him a shrug, like, what? He drives off. I climb into my 280Z, make a left on the Coast Highway there to go see this person. I get about 30 yards, and I get pulled over by 4 or 6 sheriff cars and 1 PD car. Each vehicle's got 2 to 3 police officers in it. So literally, I'm pulled over. I got 16 cops around me, and I was reaching for my piece. This wasn't too long after the whole Rodney King incident. I remember thinking, like, I'm not going out like that. I may go out, but I hate to talk like this, y'all, but it's true. Like, I may go out, but I'm taking somebody with me. And when they kept telling me open the door, and I'm like, as I'm yelling through the T-tops off, like, dude, the door doesn't open. I said, I can climb out if you want me to get out. Staying calm. And it's sad that I got to stay calm. I haven't done anything, but I'm the one as a black man and as a big black man. And back in those days, like I said, this is back when I was bouncing. So I may have been only 260, but I had 19, 20 inch on. I mean, I was huge. I mean, we growing up where I grew up, we knew that it was our job to try to keep everything copacetic as the person being pulled over, because it is what it is, and it has been for hundreds of years. This isn't something new. This is something that's been going on in our country. Pam, I remember when the first time we went to San Francisco to meet some friends of hers, and somehow or another we got to talk about DWB, and they were like, DWB? I said, yeah, driving while black. And they're like, oh, come on. And, my wife looks at them like, no, it's a thing. I have been in the car with my husband on several occasions. Matter of fact, Pam got me sent to jail one time when a cop pulled me over for no reason, and Pam went off on the guy, and then the guy was getting irate, and there I was again playing mediator, even though I've done nothing wrong. I don't have a badge, but I'm the one that's got to de-escalate the situation. I said all that to say, I had to have that conversation with my son. But sometimes, you need to push to make change, but it's just sad. And someone was asking me on the interview right before COVID, and they were asking me, did I think that the situation has escalated? And I told them no. I said the situation is the way it's always been. I said the only difference is there's a phone and a video recorder in every hand in the world. That's the only difference. Nothing's changed. It hasn't increased. It hasn't decreased. The difference is that the public, Joe Public, as they say, has a better view of what black people or people of color have dealt with for hundreds of years, and it's just crazy. I had a cop pull me over one time, gave me a ticket in Colorado, and Pam was with me, pulled me over. I think I was doing 2 miles over the speed limit, so technically I was breaking the law. And he was like, walked up to me, no, where's your driver's license or anything like that. Walked up to me with his gun out on the side of the freeway. And first thing he said, you have any warrants for your arrest? And I just kind of looked at him. He looked like he couldn't have been more than 22 years old. I just looked at him like, I wanted to just say really, but I was like, Ray, just chill. I said, here's my license and my registration. And he wanted to give me a ticket. And then he comes back and he actually told me, and Pam is my witness, he's like, hey, don't worry, the ticket is only at $70. This is the price of a parking ticket in LA, And I was like, wow, but I've had some serious incidents, and one of my worst racial incidents happened in Carlsbad. Got into it with some white supremacists one night, and ran me over with the car twice. So it is a real thing. It does happen, but it's just with black people. Sometimes it's the way we choose to react to it, and being a big guy is not always a big thing, because the best thing, because they just assume, first of all, they're afraid of you. And second of all, which is why they always call backup, which is why you always see, usually when they're arresting a brother of size, or nowadays, even a small kid, you're talking about somebody 150 pounds and you got 5 grown men on top of you. You mean tell me 5 grown men can't put handcuffs on a 150-pound guy without tasing him or putting their knee on his neck or in his back? But that's as far as I'm gonna go about that. I like to promote love, peace, understanding, and unity. Those are the core things that I live by. I'm not blind. I live in this world. I have lived in this world for quite a few decades, and I am black, and I have dealt with it across the country. And but it's cool to see people bringing those problems and those situations to light. So basically, there's a roundabout way for me saying thank you, and I appreciate it. Oh, wait a minute. Did I lose you? Wait, sorry. There we go.
Thank you. I didn't want to like assume knowing what that experience was. So, that's kind of why I wrote it from, an observer's point of view, because there's like a delicate balance between, trying to say, I know what you're going through, because I don't, but at the same time, I do want to say that there are some of us that get what a Twilight Zone reality you live in that we don't even have a clue about. And the thought that you could just run into the wrong cop and be gunned down every time you get in your car.
Well, that's also why we as older black, and I'm glad to see that a lot of black men are sticking around their families now, and I really love that, because it takes a man. I mean, I know women done it, but it takes a man to raise a man, and there are just certain things that you need a man for, and whether you're a feminist or whatever, it is the way it is. That's the life we live in, and it takes a man to raise a man. And having said that, there's enough of us that stuck around that are actually trying to talk to our young men, But it's sad that I have to actually have that conversation in a country that, I spent 10 years as a United States Marine. I've been a citizen of this country my entire life, and unlike most people in this country, we didn't immigrate here. We didn't. We didn't choose it. We've been here for 600 years, probably 100 years before this country was ever quote unquote called the United States of America. But it is what it is. It's a sad state of affairs. And my grandmother, who I've always told people, if anyone had the right to be racist, my grandmother she grew up in East Texas, rural Louisiana, born in 1919. So you imagine the things that she lived through and the things that she saw. She passed away at the age of right around 99 a few years back. And my grandmother was never that way. My grandmother taught me to treat everyone with respect and dignity. And people that know me know that I've always been that way because it's in my blood. And asshole is an asshole, whether they're black, white, purple, or green. So I don't treat anyone horrible. If you see me treating somebody horrible, they've given me a reason to treat them that way. Anyone knows me, it's a hug, it's a kiss, it's a flirt. I'll talk to you, we have fun, and I love everybody. So if for some reason you see me going off on somebody or doing something weird, to see me going off on someone in public, they really have pushed me to a point. So I said all that to say it's sad that I have to have these conversations with my son, because you have to remember these are young men and women, and their brains are still developing, and they didn't grow up in the era I grew up. They grew up in the era of inclusivity, inclusiveness, and with social media being able to see the entire world at one time. We didn't have that, and this is their country, but they don't know that there is a second America underneath, and their mind hasn't developed like our mind, and they want to fight, and you're not going to win. You're not going to win. Sometimes I hate to say this because I have family members who are in law enforcement, but sometimes they're like the biggest gang in the world, and we as the citizen, unfortunately, we have to be the peace broker. It should be the other way around, but the truth and reality of it is, sometimes I have had to eat crow to try to de-escalate the situation. Not that I'm afraid of no man walking on 2 feet. So, but it's just the way it is.
It's not worth that moment.
Exactly.
Like what Will Smith gave into, I hate to bring that up, but it's like, it's not worth that moment of getting your feelings out because you feel it. You're going to you could possibly end your life. You could end up in jail. It's like, you just have to be the more adult one in the situation, strangely enough. And and I guess, to be fair, like that last image that I mentioned, I don't know if you caught it. It was the mural for George Floyd, but there
Yeah.
was a black policeman leaning down at the foot of it with flowers, which is that all-encompassing idea. There's black policemen who are watching this go on, that are heartbroken, because they're in both worlds. And it's, I have a lot of respect for the fact that you don't get, bitter and just really angry at that stuff. But anyway.
Well, you can't, because they're just people, and I know some people saying racism and all that. There is racism involved in it, but more so than that, it is the
Here.
culture of policing in this country.
Mhm.
I have seen a man with a machete on the streets in London. He had a machete, and he was mentally disturbed. Why I bring that up is because what I saw with my own eyes, what really took me aback was, 6 policemen showed up. There was not one gun drawn. They all pulled out riot shields, surrounded the guy, and pushed him to the ground and took the machete. And the irony of that, and what wasn't lost on me, is that in America, if someone called in and said there was a crazy person in the street with a machete, the police would have pulled up 4 or 5 deep. They'd have pulled out AR-15s and pistols.
Mhm.
And most likely the situation would have been that the guy would have 9 or 10 holes in him.
Right.
So
Yep.
it's not just the racism. It is a culture of policing, and it has been that way in this country that needs to be changed.
Yeah. There's also a real ignorance and this isn't exactly, it's related, but to the whole thing of mental illness. Like mental illness, when police encounter that, they panic with violence. And
But again, that goes back to what I just said.
yeah, they don't have
The culture in America, the culture in America at large, we've never dealt with mental in this country. I mean, down south, we used to keep we had the houses always had a living room and a front room. Our mentally ill uncle or aunt stayed with the family. They lived in the front room. Like, so don't go in that front room. Uncle Joe is in there. But we've never, as a country, this country, really seriously dealt with mental illness, which is why we have all the homeless in LA right now. I would say 90% of the homeless you meet in LA are mentally ill.
Right.
Our dealing with mental illness in our country is like just put them somewhere where we don't have to think about them. We don't deal with it. So then you have a culture of policing on top of that, and now you're undertrained, you're undersensitive, you're over violent, and when you come to this situation, even though like, oh, they had an hour of training. And what is an hour of training?
Right.
What does that mean?
Right.
And yeah, that's in one ear, out the other. And but again, it's a cultural thing.
Yeah. Well, and the laws that are are swinging in too far in all the directions around all of it. I just think we need to find a way to take that attitude that you have of de-escalating rather than.
It doesn't always work.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work.
I know.
But I try to I'm getting older, but I'm 6'5", I'm 300 pounds. If I wanted to, it'd be very easy for me, and I'm well trained, even at my advanced age. It'd be very easily for me to inflict bodily harm. That's not I'm out. I'm on my way to the grocery store. I'm on my way to or from a gig. I'm happy. I'm living joy. I'm on my way to take care of my wife. So that's not in my mind. And just like he wants to go home to his family, I want to go home to mine. And so there's no reason for a traffic stop or stopping somewhere, running place, and doing stupid things to create traffic stops.
That's what I don't get. If they're
it's a culture, love. It's a culture.
What does that mean? Like, are they like
the
to
culture?
go out?
The culture of policing in America is not to protect and serve. It is to dominate and to humiliate. And no matter whether you have a gun or not, I'm a grown man, and it's and it is what it said. I hate to say that phrase, but I'm a grown man, and you're a man. there's only going to be so long that I'm gonna let you talk to me like I'm 2 years old or that I'm less than human.
Mhm.
It's a culture.
And it's allowed to go on. It's been allowed to go on.
Well, they made some strides because in my days I never heard a police officer being charged or being, you
Yeah.
know, I mean, in my day it wouldn't even have been my grandfather, my grandmother's husband was killed in Texas, shot through the door, um, at a poker game or a craps game. And this is way back. This is Texas. This is must have been like 1935, 40s, maybe during World War II. I'm not sure the exact date, but I knew it was back then. And my aunts and my grandma said, he was killed. And there was no police investigation. There was no nothing. It was just another black man dead, and they buried him,
Right.
and they went on. So
Wow.
at least now they are actually doing investigations. And I mean, like I said, that's why the blues is so deep for me. My understanding of blues and whatnot is almost as deep as those that were in those fields in the 20s and 30s because of
Right.
where I grew up and how I grew up. It may have been 1970 or 69 or like today, it may be 2022 here. But when you're in certain parts of Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Missouri, parts of Florida, let's face it, it is what it is. Once you cross over certain areas, you might as well be in 1942.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the way people think, and that's the way people feel, and it's sad because if people would open their minds just a little bit and introduce themselves to someone that they don't know, which I do at the shows all the time, they might be shocked. They may wind up making a lifelong friend because people are just people.
Yep.
But this is your interview. I don't, like I said, I don't like going down that rabbit hole.
It is a good, but it's why I do music. I mean, this conversation is why I do music. I don't do it for the money. I don't
ain't that right?
or the fame. Really, I do it to connect with people on things that matter to me, and this matters to me, and trying to find the way to describe it without being out protesting and screaming, but still reaching people is to me that's what I'm here for. So, and the thing about the blues and slavery and all that, I really felt that, just getting back to the whole music thing of watching at the Blues Museum in Clarksdale, they had some intense videos of like chain gangs, and the guy leading, I talk about this a lot. So, but he was like, and a one, and a two, da da da, and a da, and a da, and they did this beautiful kind of song to that rhythm, and they all were chained together, and they choreographed their movements to be completely in sync.
Well, they were in sync because of quote unquote the field holler. That's what a field holler is.
That's what but it's kind of like it saved their life, because instead of that every movement being something being forced on you, they turned it into a dance, or they called on their dance thing and made it look like really it just moved me, because I could see that the music was kind of saving their life.
Well, the work songs, it depends on your perspective. When I see the work songs, what I see is 400 years of slavery, and these are songs that came out of the field, and that's why I said field holler. So when they were picking cotton, there would be one guy singing leading everybody, and they pick the cotton. This is where the term field holler come from.
Wow.
And when you come with work songs, it's the same thing. It's basically, when you see those chain gangs, just instead of them with a pickaxe or a shovel, just think of them picking cotton or watermelon or whatever.
Breaking
and that
rocks.
and that's the same. It was the same thing. It's a way to get the job done and try to lighten the soul a little bit and kill the monotony. But it all goes back to
horrible.
A very bad place.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think the expressiveness of the blues is something that I just really got through all of that. I just got that it's like it's the only way. And I have a lot of anguish from my past as a Jewish person, with people in the Holocaust in my family, and all kinds of things. And it doesn't feel that far away for me.
Yeah.
I can't say it's the same. It's not, but I can tap into that feeling of deep sorrow, and so the blues, it's like it'll touch into that place, and then it sort of transforms it into something that feels positive.
But that's what happens. That's why the greatest music, some of the greatest discoveries, some of the most deep cultural things come out of suffering. Black people and Jewish people, Spanish people, a lot of these people have learned to deal with the inadequacies and make their own. What's so funny to me, being a citizen of this world and a student of humanity, is how these things that were born out of slavery or born out of oppression wound up being the mainstream years later, even though most people have no idea what it's about. When I first came to California back in the early 80s as a young Marine, people in California, including Black people, had never heard of Juneteenth. And most people still don't understand what Juneteenth. Now it's become like a national celebration, but most people don't even understand what the whole thing is even about, because it was a Texas tradition, because it happened in Texas. Juneteenth, for those of y'all that don't know, we call it Juneteenth, not June 10th. Juneteenth is it's a Black slang. Why Juneteenth? Let me just drop this knowledge and we're gonna get to a video and then I'm done with this. Why Juneteenth? Because the slaves wasn't sure what day it was. So what happened was, when the Emancipation Proclamation went through during Civil War, and the slaves and everything were free, the slave owners in Texas didn't tell the slaves in Texas that they were free for another 2 years. They kept it from them because, like I said, there was no internet, there was no So all the other slaves in the country were free, but the slaves in Texas were still slaves for at least another couple of years. And it wasn't until I can't remember his name, and I'm sad for that. I should know his name, but it wasn't until a Union colonel came to Texas and let everybody know that they were free. Now, they don't know if that was June 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, but it was somewhere in there. So Black folk just call it Juneteenth. And so that celebration is the emancipation of slaves in Texas. That was what Juneteenth is all about.
How did they keep it from the whole state?
Well, babe, we don't have internet. The slave owners own the state. We're talking about, this is Civil War. If you're a courier trying to bring news and you're trying to go through someone's, 2 mile long form or something, they'd stop you. So, it went until the Union sent cavalry in and changed that. So
that's evil.
It is what it is. That's enough of that. Let's get to some more music. Check this out. Here's another one. Miss Big say, if you're doing what I'm thinking you're doing, check this out. I hope you're.
Want me to talk about it?
You've been talking strange. You won't look me in the eye. You've been talking strange. You won't look me in the eye. If you're doing what I'm thinking, I'm gonna break down and cry. I have a bad case of the blues. It's there waiting by my breakfast. It's on the evening news. Honey, I do believe you bought yourself some walking shoes. The winds of change are blowing. Winter's coming by and by. Yeah, the cold winds are blowing. Winter's coming by and by. If you're doing what I'm thinking, I'm gonna break down and cry. If you're doing what I'm thinking, I'm gonna break down and cry. If you're doing what I'm thinking, I'm gonna break down and cry.
Right on. If you're doing what I'm thinking, I'm going to break down and cry. I like that. Plus, you got Frank Goldwasser. Frank, Frank and I played together for many years as the Managed Boys, and actually, I worked with him and Ralph and did a song off his new album right before he went back to Europe. And hope everything is going good for him in Europe. So that is pretty cool, Leslie. I'm enjoying the album. Now, when does the album officially come out? Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, I had to mute your mic because we were getting slapped back. All right, go ahead.
Well, we were scheduled for the 15th of this month, but I sort of think it's out already. I think we got a little sneak preview. It's for sale if you go to Blue Heart Records or my website, and it's charting. I'm getting reviews, but we're gonna do some shows. I'm gonna play in Ventura in June. I'm gonna play in Fresno.
Ah.
And I'm going to bring this great band up there and just, get these songs worked up because they never really have seen the light of day. I had to write them in a think tank. So it'll be fun.
Well, I like the way your mind was thinking. And the collaboration of you and Ralph sounds like gold to me. So I love it. And, thank you so much for being on the show today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully some new people discover who you are. But before we go, wait a minute, let me see. Here's all the goodies, y'all. Miss Bixler, thank you to the Wizard of Oz backstage doing his thing as always. Putting up the info. There it is. Here's all the goodies, y'all. Miss Bixels Leslie. Good Lord, let Vinton Bixler. Bandcamp.com.
What are you looking at there?
Eric was saying.
No, that doesn't seem right. No. Is it?
Yeah, that's probably right. He's pretty good.
Well, can I just say my website is missbix.com. So that's easier.
All right.
Or Blue Heart Records. Good. Somebody's in Fresno. I'm going to play at Fulton 55. Yeah. If
he was saying that's your Bandcamp page where your album is for sale.
Oh, really?
So let's put that back up.
Well, I thought it went. You know what? This is me. This is why I don't make it.
Well, what I was trying to say was Eric looked at your website, and before you came on, he was like, "Okay, her website really needs some help." So
it really does.
You should hire him. He is amazing.
Okay, Eric.
He got my life together. Thank the good Lord. So because it's been work, I have to pay him a small fortune sometimes, but he's worth every penny. So
well, can I just say, if it's not together for any reason, which I admit it could possibly not be, you can always find me on Facebook as Leslie Letvin Bixler or Miss Bix, and tell them.
Well, yeah, that's right. That's it. That's it. Say it again. That's it. Miss, say it again.
Leslie Letvin Bixler on Facebook.
There you go.
So
he's good.
Someday I'm going to get it together. And anyway, I just, you know what? There's been a lot going on.
there has been. I believe me, I understand. Totally understand. Well, thank you so much for being our guest today, and hope this was food for the soul and thought for everyone's minds today. Well, Miss Bixler, again, thank you so much. Any last words before we let you go?
Like this, and I really appreciate you having me.
Definitely, baby. We like I said, we go way back, and the whole issue of this program is give people a little talk, sitting in the backstage talking. But also, my other purpose is to introduce people to people that they don't know yet, and
Yeah.
that they should know.
Oh, thanks.
That's
I
what it's
hope
about.
so.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much. So, God bless you all. Stay cool, stay sweet. And I know we had some heavy topics today, but life is short. Get out there and live life. And, as I always say, introduce yourselves to somebody that you don't know. You never know what may happen. It probably end up being something that you'll remember for the rest of your life. I'm Sugar Ray Raver. And as always, for God's sakes, please be good to one another and to yourself. Holla!